These two are trouble. I has been staying in the house the last 2 nights because she had a real bad cut on her leg. We had to take her to the animal hospital a couple days ago, get stitched up. I don't even want to talk about how much veterinary bills are these days. It's pretty ridiculous. So I'm concerned about her tearing that open because I don't want her to be hurt. I'm also concerned about her tearing that open because I got to pay for it again to get stitched back up. It's enough to make me want to get one of those staplers and just start cinching them back up when they hurt themselves, but I don't have access to antibiotics or other things like that, so that's not going to work. I got to get back down in here and move these goats. A week ago, we started moving them, and unfortunately, the area that we moved them to had a big yellow jacket nest, and I had to deal with that before I could put the girls down there. Well, they are raising Cain because they really want to get out of this pen. They've been in the pen for 5 days now, and they don't like it. Even though they've been getting plenty of grain, plenty of hay, got to get them moved. Come on, hit. Here go, go. Hit. Here go. Come on, go. Hit. Come on, go. Hit. Come on, go. Good girl. Come on. Here you go. Come on. Here you go. Come on. Here we go. Here we go. What are we looking like here? Looking like nothing. It ain't working. There's no voltage. It helps if you turn it on. $6,500, 6.4, should be higher than that. So something is taking the voltage out of this thing. Well, I found my way back out here and I finished cutting up all of this oak that we knocked down. I just sharpened the saw blade. Jafana is shuttling the cut pieces back and forth with the tractor. We don't have a log splitter on site. That's a whole nother story. But while she's doing that, I got some more stuff back here that I need to go cut because I've been doing some things. Now, when I say I did some things, what I mean is I did some things. I got in here with the excavator and I just started pulling the trees out. Took a little bit to get the technique. I was breaking a lot of the stumps. This I'm just going to come in and mow down. I'm not really worried about it. But that's what I've got. And that's not all going in that hole. What I'm going to do is cut all the stumps off of that, drop the stumps into that hole, and run these pine trees through the chipper. We're going to end up with a lot of wood chips, well, needle chips too, I guess. But we're going to end up with a big pile of wood chips, and that's how I'm going to handle all this material, because this crap would fill that hole up pretty quick, and I've got a whole lot more of it. This doesn't go very far in. You can see how wide it is here. That's as wide as it is all the way across, and you can see the end of it over there. But I've probably got 50 to 75 more yards of it going that way. That's a lot of material. So I think most of the stumps will end up in that hole, and then the rest of it's going to get put into chips. I'm going to take the chainsaw and I'm just going to cut some of these stumps off. I don't really think I'm going to be able to get too much of this stuff separated, but anything I can reach and pull out, I'm going to cut the stumps off of it, and that'll allow us to start getting some stuff staged so we can start chipping. We'll see what we can do. Examining the scope of this, I discovered that I've got such a big tangled stack of pine trees that I tore out of there that I can't really pull them apart to get to where I can cut any stumps out. So what I got to do is grab some of them and scatter them out in the field a little bit so I can walk around with a chainsaw and cut the stumps off of it. Light, maybe an hour and a half, whatever. I'm gonna come over here and get a little bit of this done, moving some stumps over toward the pit. There's always a little something you can do. I could take a nap too, but I got a little bit of daylight left, and once it's gone, it's gone. Get them moved over toward the pit. I mentioned that I keep breaking things. I broke something. The question is, how bad is it? Oof. That's bad. I've never done that before. How the heck do I fix this? That looks like that weighs hundreds of pounds. How in the heck do I fix this? That's how it's supposed to look. Yeah, those ain't light. Those are not light. Looks like I gotta do some research tonight, and like I've got a lot of work to do tomorrow. Well, I'm back. It's almost 3 o'clock. I'm just getting back out here. The tools that I need, I can't find, so I had to go buy a new pinch pry bar and a regular pry bar because I didn't have anything that was longer than 18 inches. And I don't think that's gonna do the trick with this. I've been doing a lot of research on YouTube and on the internet, and I think I have a good plan. I know what I need to do in theory in order to get the track back on this thing. The first thing that I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna clean the weeds up around here, because if you take a look at this high grass, I do not like the idea of being down on my hands and knees around here when I can't see what's going on, knowing the kinds of snakes that we have around here. I've never done this before. It's kind of surprising because I've had the excavator 6-7 years now, 8 years now. I've never thrown a track. I guess I've been very lucky. But you can see there's a lot of space right there. And the reason it's like that is this is not exactly level ground. So what I want to do is try and pull this thing forward a little bit. If I pull it forward and I move this track, I'm going to throw the track completely off, and then I'm in a real heap of trouble. So what I'm going to try to do is peg leg it just a little bit by pushing myself up on one side and just riding on the other track, and just move it forward enough to get on a more stable, more flat ground. I either need to go forward or I need to go back, and I'm not sure which one. So I'm turning it off to save battery, I have a charging problem right now. That was what my plan for today was. Before I threw the track, was I was going to track down what the issue was and try to fix whatever was shorting it out so it wasn't charging my batteries. I had to take the batteries home last night and charge them up. I've been doing that for a couple weeks. It is getting old. First things first, we gotta get the tracks back on this puppy. That is a lot flatter. When I finally get to the point where I'm trying to pull that, it'll be a lot easier for me because I won't have as much drop going down underneath of it. The first thing that I have to do is get in here and relieve the ram. There is a hydraulic ram with a spring built into it that pushes against this crap. What the hell is that thing called? It pushes against this wheel right here. The name will come to me. Anyway, it pushes against that and it keeps that tension on it, and that keeps the track on. Instead of using hydraulic fluid, it uses grease, and there's a zerk right there. If I stick this up here, probably if you look at it, you can see that it is a little zerk, and I've got to loosen that zerk and get some of that grease out. When I loosen that, a lot of grease is going to start coming out, and then I'm probably going to try and see if I can reach over here and push. I don't even know if the bucket will touch that, but if it'll touch the front of the track and push it in, that'll push some more of that grease out. I want to compress that as much as possible because that is how I'm going to be able to have enough space to get this track back on. This thing's using a 10mm wrench. Now I don't know if I'm supposed to loosen this big nut right there or if I'm supposed to take the zerk out. As I said, this is the first time I've ever done this, so I'm taking the zerk out first and see if it comes out. I hope it does. If that's the answer, then we're off to the races. That's a 10mm wrench that does that. That's coming out of there, and I got a feeling that's not it. Yeah, we'll see nothing. That's a problem. Ram did not compress, so I decided to try and pry the track back onto the idler wheel. It's touching here, and there's space over there, so it's just kind of, I really wish it was not touching here, it's not making it big. Fanny came out to help me. We were going to use the winch on the front of her Jeep, but, true to form, we discovered that that's broken. It is kind of pulling. We used the 2-ton come-along. We pried it, we pulled it. We poked at it, the both of us together, and separately, using every trick we could find, everything we found on the internet that was supposed to help make it work, but nothing seemed to get it there. We felt like we were just at the edge of being able to get the track back onto the idler, but it would never work. We hooked the chain up to the excavator itself and used the bucket to pull against the track to try and stretch it its full length to make sure that it wasn't kinked up from having been moved around. Still didn't work. All right, day 2. Back out here. Done a little bit of research and I think I have a plan. If I take those screws, those bolts out right there, this piece comes off, and then I can take this out further or all the way, one of the two. And what that should do for me is it should allow a lot of grease to come out. My real problem is I can't get that wheel to go back in there. That idler wheel should collapse in another 4 inches. And 4 inches would be more than enough for us to be able to get this thing on there. If we'd have had 4 more inches there yesterday, we'd have been able to get it on the track. We'd be good to go. That 27mm bolt needs to be backed out of there, at least more. May have to come all the way out. It turns easily by hand, but it talks about how much pressure there is there, so I'm a little worried about having my hand in front of it, so I can't really film and take it out at the same time. That's it. It had grease on it. That's certainly it. I have no idea why the grease is not coming out of there. Every video I watched where I was trying to learn what I need to do here, that grease would just come shooting out of there. Just squeezing right out. What I'm going to do is try to push against that front idler wheel and see if I can get it to push back enough to get some of that grease out. I should be able to get a few inches of play here so that I can get it back so that I can do something, but so far not working out. Well, I'm still struggling on this thing. I had somebody suggest that I take the valve that I pulled out of there yesterday, put it back in, and try to pump some grease into that chamber to break it free. Like maybe I can get enough hydraulic pressure going the other direction to break it loose, and then I'll be able to compress it. It's a possibility, so I'm going to give it a try. I can hear the damn thing moving. Oh my God, that ain't easy. You can see in there, hopefully you can see in there, there's about 8 inches of ram that's pushed out. So I'm not sure how much of that's sticking out of there when it starts, but I think probably most of it is all the way in there. And then you fill that with grease. So I can hear it creep in and crunching in there. My suspicion would be that this is going to start getting driven out this way. And what I'm going to do is just pull some of this dirt out, make it a little bit easier to see, and see if we can make that move a little bit. If we can make this move a little bit, maybe we're breaking the ram free, and then when we push on the other side, after we take the bolt back out, maybe we can push it back in. Well, I just keep striking out. But I can hear the pressure building up inside of it. It's obviously stuck. So I got one more thing I'm going to try. Probably do that tomorrow. Then I'm going to pull that idler out of there and I'm going to take it to the shop and I'm going to let them do it because they've got all the equipment and everything else, and they can compress it or whatever it is they would need to do. They've got a big shop that works on these things all the time. I'll take it into them. I'm going to go mow some grass. Got about an hour left. Do something that I can see some progress in. And just because I'm having a hard time right now sometimes you got to stop and you got to look around, because this is where I'm having a hard time. And if I got to have a hard time, boy, I picked the right spot to do it. This is the reason that we're here, is to live in this. It makes all this stuff worth it. This is a real pain in the butt, but in the grand scheme of things, this is trivial. We've overcome a lot worse than this. We'll beat this. You can count on it.